In continuing on with my top 30 favorite TV shows of all time, we have finally reached the halfway point of our list. And again, it seems like we're moving through this pretty quickly. The last couple of weeks have moved very, very fast overall. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the second half of my list of my 30 favorite TV shows by looking at number 15 on the list. And that is, of course, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. What's interesting about a show like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was that you got to go back to 2005 when FX was branching out with their original content. They had just premiered The Shield about 3 years prior, and then Nip Tuck came around, and they were branching out from dramas to comedies. And they had two comedies that they had premiering at the same time. They had this show, but they also had a show called Starved. So these were two shows that were premiering at the same time, and nobody really knew if one of these two shows was going to succeed as well as they were hoping for. So the head of FX quite literally had a contest simply to see which one of these two shows was going to be the show that was going to have a bigger branching out of broadening their demographic with comedy programming. And yeah, most people thought Starve was going to do it, but then It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia ended up winning. Starve was pretty much canceled after just 2 months on the air, and the end results have paid off marvelously for that show, because It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is still a show that is very much as funny as it was back then as it is now. I mean, it has not lost a beat. This is a show that follows the exploits of a group of narcissistic and sociopathic friends who run the Irish dive pub, Paddy's Pub in South Philadelphia, but spend most of their free time drinking, scheming, and arguing amongst themselves and plotting elaborate cons with each other and at times against each other for personal benefit, financial gain, revenge, or simply due to boredom or inebriation. And you got a cast that includes much of relative unknowns: Charlie Day, Glenn Howerton, Rob McElhenney, Caitlin Olsen. I mean, these were people who were unknowns when the show came out, but have since gone on to do many other big things in their own rights, and they've even gone on to do separate shows and other movies as well, in between the show's filming in general. And then Danny DeVito comes on in the second season of the show, playing the father of Dennis and Dee, the two is Glenn Howerton and Caitlin Olsen's characters, and he just adds in a whole new layer to the show that was already there with the first season in general. I always like to consider this show to be the live-action South Park, because like South Park and even Futurama, It's Always Sunny manages to get funnier and funnier with every season as it stays relevant. I mean, not only that, but it's basically a raunchier and cooler version of other TV shows, not just South Park, but also Seinfeld. You see a little bit of the Honeymooners in there too, with, you know, the whole idea of Ralph and Ed having these schemes trying to make money and all that. These guys do pretty much everything like that in general. The main leads on the show are characters that do some of the dumbest things ever, and you hate them sometimes because they do the things they want to do, and they think they're so smart about it, but that's why we keep watching it, because you want to see what kind of chaotic adventures these characters are going to go on next. Every single episode with these characters just keeps you so hooked in on what they're going to do next, and it's just like, you can't help but go along for the ride with this. I mean, it's also probably the only show where I can probably predict what the last episode of the show will eventually be. I get a feeling that it's going to be like the last episode of Seinfeld, except instead of going to jail because they broke the Good Samaritan laws, they're basically going to go to jail for all the stuff they've done, and this time they're not going to go to jail. They're going to get electrocuted, hanged to death. Like, for some reason, that's the thought process I've always had with the show in general, or what the last episode of this is going to be, because in no reality will should this show continue with these guys still alive when it's all said and done. I mean, this is just... I mean, that's the beauty of the show in general. Like, you hate these characters and their motivations, but you get so compelled by how so committed they are to making these realities and these ideas of theirs come to life, and you just can't help but laugh your ass off, man. I mean, this is a show that is just as funny and as clever and as also stupid at the same time as the show continues on. I mean, this show has been on now for, this is a 17th season now that we just had this past year. And really, it's not lost a beat at all. Like, the show just keeps getting funnier. And there's even times when the show can even get emotional at times. Like, I always remember the season where they all went to Ireland, and the big thing was that Charlie was, trying to bury his father at the top of this mountain, and then there's a point where it's raining, they have to get to the top of the mountain, and he just completely loses it. And it really is brilliant acting from Charlie Day. Like, you can believe that this guy is just letting his raw emotions out in this scene. And with the music, the Amazing Grace bagpipe music playing from Tommy Boy in the background, it just makes it all the more sweeter. And, this show, like I said, it's just so brilliant in its craziness, its ridiculousness. This is a show that has a crossover with Abbott Elementary, for God's sakes. And when they did that, everyone was looking at this and going, like, why are they crossing Abbott Elementary over with a show like It's Always Sunny? Because Abbott Elementary is just simply a show where, it's a lighthearted show. Like, it's a show that, it's one of those lighthearted shows where you look at it and go, like, how are they going to make this work? And sure enough, when the Sunny guys made it over to Abbott Elementary, it was the typical Abbott Elementary episode. But then, when the new season began on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they basically allow the characters from Abbott Elementary to act like the characters on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where they're swearing more. You hear them saying the word shit. Like, Quinita Brunson on the show literally says, "See you next Tuesday," about D on the show. And when I heard that for the first time, I was laughing so goddamn hard. Like, that made me laugh so hard. But again, it works because it fits the context of what both shows were trying to do. Like, it shows that, hey, It's Always Sunny can work in a more safer show like Abbott Elementary. Well, Abbott Elementary can also work in a more intense show like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a more raunchier show. And that's kind of the beauty of. That was one of the great things about TV this year in general, was the fact that they were willing to go that far, and they made it work. Like, it really was a fun idea to do that this year. And it just shows you the pure chaos and the pure absurdity of what has made It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia so special overall, that over these last 20 years. I mean, this is a show that keeps getting better and better and better as it goes along. And quite frankly, I would be really, really disappointed if the show comes to an end anytime soon, which I hope it doesn't. I hope these guys continue to put out as much funny stuff as they can from the show, because there is a lot of good funny stuff in here. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a terrific, terrific show. And let's be honest, it's the best thing to come out of Philadelphia. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you Eagles fans, to you Flyers fans, Phillies fans. I'm sorry. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia will always be the best thing to come out of Philadelphia. Actually, no, that's not true. I should mention that's not true at all. Rocky came out of Philadelphia, so there's a couple. Actually, there are a couple things about this. So just forget I said anything. But the point I'm trying to get across here is that It's Always Sunny I am so confused. I'm losing my train of thought here for a second. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, regardless of how I feel, of what I'm trying to get across here, is still one of the funniest shows ever. It's number 15 on my list of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's late. It's after 2 o'clock by the time I'm recording this, so I need to get some sleep here. So there you go. That's my thoughts on number 15 on my list of my 30 favorite TV shows. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We move on to number 14 next week. And if you want to hear what I had to say about my number 16 favorite show, the aforementioned Futurama, please go ahead and hit the video in the corner. Check out the playlist to see the other shows on my list. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.